Hello, and welcome to our final episode of season 2. I know I've heard it from all of you. You want it to keep going. But can I give you a little hint? There will be a season 3 later in the year. But for now, let's just really enjoy where we're at right now. Now, this episode, I really want to bring up and highlight how much I wish everyone on this world would understand that you are more than the roles that you play. Now, what do I mean by that? What the heck is she talking about this time? What I want to share about is in adulting, there are so many places that we have to turn up and in so many different ways. So it's normal sometimes if you're feeling a little bit split, if you're feeling a little bit disconnected and you're really struggling to find any connection to yourself anymore. Perhaps you're always in the car driving someone somewhere. Perhaps you have your own business and you've got to turn up at home and be really on. Perhaps you've got a lot of people that you need to show love. Perhaps you need to manage the house and remember that there's washing and, oh crap, I haven't unpacked that dishwasher. There's a wet load in the machine. Wait, did no one organise any dinner? Who knew that cereal for dinner could be so exciting for children? Anyway, what I want to discuss is when you're feeling this sense of disconnect, I want you to know that there are ways that you can start to bring all the pieces of this life that you live back together to help make you whole again. And this is why I need you to understand that you are more than just the roles that you play. Did you know that the Black Dog Institute has said by 2030, the biggest epidemic to our health is going to be depression? Now, as a wellbeing mentor and coach, I see this directly relates to our disconnect with ourselves and a form of faith. Sometimes in adulting, when you have to hold all the loads all the time, it is so darn exhausting. When we're running on exhaustion, we don't always make great food choices. When we're running on exhaustion, we're often not very hydrated. We're often not really taking time for ourselves. And I've been there. A couple of years ago, I was so close to the worst form of burnout I've ever experienced. I was studying and I studied a new business and I was writing a book and I was helping my husband with his business and I had 3 kids and they all like to be loved in different ways and I just split myself too far. Too many times. I suppose it's kind of like Harry Potter when Voldemort had to split himself over and over and over again until there was nothing left. And that's what burnout felt like for me. There was nothing left, nothing in my smiles, nothing in the twinkle of my eyes, no excitement for creativity. Even my garden, I just sort of stare out the window like, I remember that girl that used to love that space. But I just felt so far away from her. The tricky thing is, I actually was enjoying all of it. And it was this epiphany that when I went to the doctor and said, I just can't find rest. I sleep and I wake up just as tired as when I fell asleep. And he said, well, are you stressed? And I said, no, I'm actually really happy. I've got all these things happening. I'm here and I'm there and I'm creating. And he's like, yeah, but you know you can be happy and stressed. And I said, you can? And he's like, the way we'll find out is by doing a heap of blood tests. And so that's what we did. We did a heap of blood tests and lo and behold, my body was stressed. There were all sorts of things happening in that blood work that I didn't even know. Like, yes, I knew I was tired. Yes, I knew that my memory fog was intense. Yes, that I knew that I couldn't retain information. Hardly remembered my kids' names most of the time. And I was losing track of doing life in any form of effectively or efficiently. It was just, everything just felt like too much. And I actually started to get really scared because mental health has ran through my family so much. And on those days where I couldn't retain things and I couldn't see the joy and nothing seemed to make me, like inwardly happy, I was having all this external happiness, but inwardly happy. And then it came back to, what are the habits that I do just for me to fill my own cup? And I recognized I haven't been doing my breath work. I haven't been doing my gratitude when I go to sleep at night. I haven't even been doing any prayers. So I became disconnected to all the things that fundamentally make my soul complete. And that's, if I'm soul care healing and I'm not doing it, then what the hell am I even doing? What is going on? And so I had to pull back. I had to pull back from all the roles. I stopped doing canteen. I came away from my roles in all the committees that I'm on everywhere and everything. I just pulled way back. And yes, people didn't understand it because I always show up and I'm always happy. What do you mean you're struggling? But the thing is, I was racing so fast that I couldn't even give myself the chance to feel anything ever. And so what I want to invite you to is, if you feel any of the things that I mentioned, even just one off the list, take stock now. Do a check-in now. How am I? Really, really, how am I? If you're overwhelmed, what can you step back from? If you're giving too much of yourself, how can you gracefully let others know that you need to pull back? Do you know the other thing I did that was so damn liberating? I left so many online social chats and people were like, "What's wrong? Have we upset you? What's going on?" And I just said, "I'm sorry, I just can't turn up for you at the moment. I'm so damn knackered. If I hear another beep of my phone of another person having a conversation, I'm going to fucking scream or cry. Probably both. But it wouldn't be pretty." So please check in on yourself. When you notice that something's not quite right, don't just push through it. Love yourself enough to give a shit about yourself. Take this time and have a look at even make a list. This is how I did it. I made a list of all the things I do for other people all the time. It was ridiculous how long that list was. And there is nothing wrong at being a generous, open, loving, contributing member of society until you get unwell, until your body is telling you that enough is enough. So choose wisely. Just like I said in the last episode, choose who gets to sit at your table. Choose the version of you that's turning up for them. And when I started to implement all the things that I teach, and trust me, I understand, we all fall off the wagon, we all get consumed, we all get busy. But once I started coming back to my gratitude, making sure that every time I flicked the kettle on and boiled it, or when I went to have a glass of water, I just stopped. It's so simple. I just stopped. Everything became slower. And you know what happens? When you slow down, grace appears. And sometimes it's the slowing down that creates the space for the new enriching things to land in. And this is where I hope you find yourself. It can't be all day, every day, but in the micro moments of the day that you can exist here, this place of peace, that is what is going to give you stamina. That is what is going to help you get through life. That is what's going to help you bounce back when things turn to shit, and they will. No one is immune to it. But just don't let it be too late before you make some changes that honor you, honor the way you love, the way you learn, the way you show up, the way you contribute. And you will only do well. So remember, you can be happy and stressed. And it got me thinking with that statistic from the Black Dog Institute. Imagine being stressed and miserable. I was happy and stressed. I was a little bit overwhelmed, but I was happy. I can't imagine the fatigue and the sorrow that would come from being stressed and miserable. So if that is you, God, I wish I could come straight through this screen and give you a big hug. And I want you to know that as I love all humans, You too deserve the love of your own self, to make changes now, to be inspired now, to care for yourself like you care for others, because you are so bloody worth it. My apologies, that episode was really heavy, but I just really want you to get it. And I want to offer that if you've loved the podcast and you found it valuable and you want more, I've got good news for you. The Mindful Woman's Toolkit is a free video series where I teach 3 practical tools and strategies to manage and thrive through life's challenges. If you love the podcast, I know you'll love the toolkit, and it's free. To get access to the toolkit, just head to the website and click on the toolkit banner. Now, fellas, even though it says women's, you're free to go and get this resource as well. If any of you are feeling stressed, overwhelmed, if you're reacting quick to anger, if you too have lost your spark and your joy, if you feel disconnected to yourself and society, then this is for you, no matter who you are.